This video explains temperature scales by deeply answering 10 questions with eye contact.
Mention 3 scales used for temperature measurements. Celsius, Fahrenheit, Kelvin. These are the units widely used to measure the temperature. Now, the units of this Celsius is degree Celsius. Unit of Fahrenheit, degree Fahrenheit. Unit of Kelvin, K. The SIU, Standard International Unit of Temperature, is Kelvin. Kelvin is the Standard International Unit of Temperature. What are known as fixed points in a temperature scale? Okay, here you can observe this is solid ice and a thermometer. The initial temperature of this ice is minus 10 degrees Celsius. Now, I am going to heat this ice. Now the temperature increases. Now it became minus 8, minus 6, observe this 0 degrees Celsius. For a long time, this 0 degrees Celsius is observed. We have plotted the temperature. Okay, now there is solid ice and liquid water. The temperature stays in the 0 degrees Celsius. Now the ice is melting. Okay, now the temperature is increasing further. 5. Now it is 10, 20, 30. Now you can observe the water start to boil. The liquid state changes to gas. Here we can observe the temperature increasing minus 10 to 0. And in this 0 temperature, the temperature does not change. Up to this 0 to 100 degrees Celsius, the temperature increases. It is not a fixed temperature. And when reaches this 100, The temperature is stable. We can observe that this fixed temperature or this definite temperature can be observed when the state changing. This 0 degrees Celsius could be observed when the ice melting. That is the melting point. And this definite temperature observed at the water changes to vapor. That is the boiling point. These definite temperatures this 0 degrees Celsius and this 100 degrees Celsius considered as the fixed points. These are fixed temperatures. So, they are considered as the fixed points. This 100 is the maximum fixed point. And this 0 degrees Celsius is the minimum fixed point. When forming the scale, this interval between this minimum fixed point and the maximum fixed point, the gap is divided into 100 divisions in the Celsius scale. So, our answer, what is fixed point? The definite temperature used to form temperature scale. What is used as the minimum fixed point in a Celsius scale? What is used as the maximum fixed point in a Celsius scale? Explain the way of forming Celsius scale and Fahrenheit scale. Okay, now pay our attention on forming the scales Celsius and Fahrenheit. Okay. Both Fahrenheit and Celsius scales take the fixed point. The minimum fixed point is melting of ice and the maximum fixed point as boiling point of water. Here, the thermometer has kept inside the ice cubes. This is marked in the Celsius scale. It is marked as 0 degrees Celsius, and the Fahrenheit scale, it is marked as 32 degree Fahrenheit. This is the first difference between these two scales. The minimum points are differently marked, but the fixed point taking to form the scale is same. Marking differently. Okay, now the water is boiling. Then the mercury level has risen up to this level. Then marked the maximum fixed point. In this Celsius scale, this maximum fixed point is marked as 100 degrees Celsius. And now we can observe between the minimum fixed point and the maximum fixed point, the length is same, but the division is different. In this Celsius scale, it is divided into 100 divisions, but the same gap in the Fahrenheit scale, they have divided into 180 divisions. So, the maximum fixed point, that is boiling of water, is marked as 32 plus 180, that is 212. This is the main difference between these two scales. Okay, now let's do some calculations on these scales. If we consider this is 10 degrees Celsius, we know there are 10 divisions up to this much. Then how many divisions are there in this Fahrenheit scale? This is the way. Hundred divisions in Celsius scale is equal to 180 divisions in Fahrenheit. Then one division in Celsius is equal to 180 by 100 divisions in Fahrenheit. That is 9 by 5 divisions. So this is the way. So 10C, this should be equal to 10 into 9 by 5 Fahrenheit. So that is 18 divisions. So this mercury level passes 18 divisions in Fahrenheit. So the reading will be 32 plus 18, that is 50 degree in Fahrenheit. So we can say 10 degrees Celsius is equal to 50 degree Fahrenheit. Here we can see 100 degrees Celsius is equal to 212. We can get by the calculation also. Hundred divisions equal to 180 divisions. Then the reading 180 plus 180 plus 32, that is 212 degree Fahrenheit. Now we can convert a degree Celsius value into Fahrenheit value. Okay, now it is 10, 20, 30, 37, 37 degrees Celsius can be converted into, find out our body temperature in Fahrenheit. You do that. If you ask to, if it is minus 10 degrees Celsius, what will be in the Fahrenheit? If it is minus 40 degrees Celsius, what will be in Fahrenheit? Okay, 40 into 9 by 5, that is minus 40 plus 32. 72 minus 72 plus 32. It is minus 40 degree in Fahrenheit. So we can say the minus 40 degree Fahrenheit and minus 40 degree Celsius. This is the temperature, get the same value in Celsius scale and Fahrenheit scale. Minus 40 degrees Celsius is equal to minus 40 degree Fahrenheit. And if you ask to convert the absolute temperature, what is absolute temperature? Minus 273 degree Celsius. We have to convert this to Fahrenheit. Then minus 273 into 9 by 5 plus 32. Okay, we can get this value is 491.4. This is minus degrees Fahrenheit. Now we can convert this absolute temperature in Celsius and Fahrenheit. We can convert. Okay. Any minimum value of temperature less than 0 degrees Celsius. What is the minimum value of temperature that can be reached by any object? What is the temperature when the kinetic energy of all the particles becomes 0 according to the Celsius scale? What is known as absolute zero temperature? Which scale defines its zero at the absolute zero? 0 degrees Celsius is not mean the minimum value of temperature. We know the temperature is the measure of mean kinetic energy of particles. So we can see when the temperature is 0 degrees Celsius, we can say the kinetic energy of the particles in the ice cube is 0 as it is in the solid state. Inside the thermometer, that is in liquid state. Liquid mercury. So, in this liquid, the particles have a certain amount of kinetic energy. Then we cannot say the kinetic energy is 0 in this mercury. So, this 0 degrees Celsius is not mean the minimum value of temperature. When forming the Celsius scale, they considered the minimum fixed point is melting of ice and the maximum boiling of water. So, considering the fixed point using water, the Celsius scale formed. But in the mercury, in this temperature, the mercury is in the liquid state. This mercury liquid dropped down to minus 39 degrees Celsius. Then it becomes the solid state. So we can see this value is suitable for only considering the water. But the kinetic energy in the particles are not zero here. So this is not the minimum value to the temperature. This value falls down. So there are temperatures less than 0 to. This is not the minimum value to the temperature. If we consider alcohol, the melting point of alcohol is 115 degrees Celsius. So when the mercury freezes, the alcohol stays in liquid. So we cannot get, this is the minimum value of temperature. If we consider the minimum value of temperature according to alcohol minus 115 degrees Celsius, in this temperature, the atmospheric gases, oxygen, carbon dioxide, all the gases are in the gaseous state. If we take this temperature as the minimum value, that is also wrong, because the gases, oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, gases in the atmosphere, in this temperature, they are in the gaseous state. When all these gases become liquid, after that it should go to the solid state. Then at this temperature, the kinetic energy of all the particles is zero. It is called the absolute zero temperature. This is the minimum value to the temperature all the particles can reach. So this is called the absolute zero. This absolute zero temperature is in Celsius scale. This is the minimum value to the temperature any object can reach. So when taking this 0 degrees Celsius is the minimum value, that goes wrong. But when taking this absolute zero temperature as the minimum value, that is always right. So the scale Kelvin is taking the absolute zero temperature as its zero. In the Kelvin scale, it starts to increase the temperature upward. This is minus 273. It want to reach upward to this point, that is this much. Downward, in the Celsius downward mark minus 273. In the Kelvin, from the 0 upward, it is measured 273 Kelvin. So, the 0 degrees Celsius in the Celsius scale is marked in the Kelvin 273 Kelvin. The 100 degrees Celsius Kelvin scale is marked here 273 plus 100, 373 Kelvin. Okay, once again you define this absolute zero temperature. What is mean by absolute zero temperature? It is the minimum value of temperature that can be reached by any object. In this absolute temperature, the kinetic energy of all the particles is zero in this absolute temperature. Kelvin scale taken the zero as the absolute zero temperature.